They say family is supposed to protect you, be there when you fall. But what if the ones you trust the most are the very people who push you over the edge and walk away? My name is Rachel Carter. I'm 30, sharp, self-made, and up until recently, I thought I had everything under control. But in one single moment, I fell, literally. A construction accident shattered my leg, and what came next shattered everything else. While I was lying in a hospital bed, helpless and broken, someone stole from me. Not a stranger, my sister. This isn't just a story about betrayal, it's about the line I had to draw to finally choose myself. Rachel Carter had always been the kind of woman who kept everything under control. Her sight, her staff, her emotions. At 30, she was the lead supervisor at Sable Heights Project, a luxury condo development just outside Portland. Known for her discipline and sharp mind, Rachel had earned the respect of everyone on site. Still, there was something distant about her, like she had learned long ago to keep her private life locked away, unreached. She arrived early, clipboard in hand, double-checking scaffold stability before the morning inspection. It was supposed to be routine. She had done this 100 times, but that morning, a sharp metallic screech tore through the air, then a deafening crash. Rachel didn't even have time to turn before the scaffolding gave out beneath her. She fell. A heavy beam landed across her leg with brutal force. Blood, screams, chaos, then blackness. When she came to, harsh fluorescent lights greeted her. Her leg was encased in a cast. Her body throbbed with pain in every movement. She was alone in a hospital room at St. Mary's General Hospital. Dr. Marcus Ellison explained the extent of her injuries. A complex leg fracture, extensive bruising, and a long road of physical therapy ahead. He stressed one critical instruction: absolutely no stress. Her body couldn't afford it. That warning echoed in her mind when the door creaked open. Chloe. Her younger sister, Chloe Carter, 25, walked in with a takeout container and an awkward smile. "Brought Mum's soup," she said, barely meeting Rachel's eyes. Chloe rarely visited, rarely cared. She was the wild one, the family's free spirit, or as Rachel saw it, their perpetual screw-up. Rachel tried to ignore the pit forming in her stomach. Chloe barely said 2 words, mostly scrolling on her phone. That night, Rachel's phone buzzed on the side table. She reached for it, wincing. Notification, $2,340 spent at Luxie Avenue Boutique. Then another, $1,780 at Designer Shoe Warehouse. More followed. Her hands trembled. She grabbed her purse. ID, insurance card, but no credit card. Her breath hitched. The room suddenly felt colder, quieter. Her eyes narrowed. Could it be? "Chloe?" she whispered, barely able to speak the words aloud. Rachel wasted no time. Her fingers trembled as she called her bank, urgency cracking in her voice. Every charge from the past 48 hours was fraudulent. Her card had been missing since the accident. She remembered clearly. The nurse placed her purse on the bedside table during intake. Only medical staff had access. And Chloe. Chloe, who had been casually scrolling through her phone while Rachel drifted in and out under heavy meds. It clicked. The sickening possibility became undeniable. She called her sister. Chloe picked up after a few rings, feigning innocence. "Hey, Rach, how are you feeling?" Rachel didn't entertain the small talk. Her voice came out ice cold. "You took my credit card, didn't you?" A beat of silence. Then, "What are you even talking about?" Chloe replied, her voice steeped in denial, but it cracked. A sigh followed. "Fine, yeah, I used it, so what? I needed a few things for a job interview. You said no when I asked for help, so technically this is your fault." She laughed. "Don't freak out. You're gonna get a fat insurance check, right? You'll come out ahead." Rachel felt like the air had been knocked from her lungs. The betrayal wasn't just in the act. It was in how easily Chloe excused it. No guilt, no remorse, just entitlement. She hung up without a word and dialed her mother. Deborah's voice was warm at first. That didn't last. As Rachel explained the theft, expecting shock or concern, her mother's tone shifted. "Honey, Chloe really needed that money," Deborah said. "She's trying to turn her life around. You know how hard interviews are these days." Rachel's voice cracked. She stole from me while I was in a hospital bed. Ooh, don't be dramatic, her mother snapped. $10,000 is nothing to you. Chloe can't pay it back, you'll just have to cover it. Silence followed. Rachel's hands gripped the sheets. The betrayal wasn't just Chloe's. Her mother, her own blood, was telling her to absorb it, as if Rachel's pain, her trust, her dignity were all disposable. Lying back, she stared at the ceiling, eyes stinging. Not once had anyone asked her how she was feeling. Not Chloe, not her mother, not even a simple, "Are you okay?" Just expectations, just silence, just betrayal. Rachel sat upright in her hospital bed, scrolling through Instagram. What she saw made her stomach knot. There was Chloe, grinning in a strapless black cocktail dress, oversized Dior sunglasses perched on her head, one leg playfully extended in designer heels. The caption read, "Treating myself to some joy in the chaos of life. Retail therapy." Her feed was flooded with photos, luxury handbags, high-end makeup hauls, champagne flutes at rooftop bars. Her friends flooded the comments with hearts and fire emojis, no remorse, no shame. The door creaked open again. Rachel looked up to see her parents. Deborah and Frank Carter walked in like a storm cloud had followed them inside. Their faces were tight, arms folded, posture accusatory. Deborah didn't even offer a greeting. "Chloe told us everything," she began. "She's sorry, Rachel, but pressing charges really over money." Frank chimed in, softer but firm. "She's your sister. You think this is worth tearing the family apart?" Rachel looked at them, expression unreadable. Then her voice cut through the tension like glass. "This isn't about money. It's about boundaries and respect. Two things she's never shown." That night, Rachel called Ethan Blake, her lawyer. She told him everything, every detail, every charge, every insult disguised as family loyalty. Ethan listened carefully, then laid out the reality. Chloe could face criminal charges for credit card fraud and identity theft. Rachel didn't hesitate. "Move forward," she said. "File it." The fallout was immediate. Chloe sent a barrage of texts, ranging from guilt-tripping accusations to childish insults. "You've always been jealous of me," one read. "You've always wanted to see me fail." Deborah's message came shortly after, cold, ultimatum style. "If you don't withdraw this complaint, don't consider yourself part of this family anymore." Rachel didn't flinch. She called hospital admin and requested to block all family visits. Later that night, she signed the complaint form Ethan had emailed. Her face was calm, her eyes hollow with exhaustion. Rain streaked the window beside her bed as she stared out into the dark. "If I don't protect myself," she thought, "then who will?" 3 weeks after the fall, Rachel was discharged from St. Mary's General Hospital. Lindsay Moore was there waiting, steady, reliable, the one person who hadn't vanished when things got hard. She helped Rachel into the car, making light conversation to ease the tension, but Rachel's smile barely surfaced. Back in her apartment in the Pearl District, everything felt unfamiliar. The walls echoed in silence. Rachel hobbled from room to room on crutches, adjusting to her new limitations. She cooked simple meals, did her stretches, tried to distract herself with work emails and news feeds. But loneliness hung in the air like fog. Then Ethan called. "Chloe's been questioned by the police," he said. She admitted to using the card, said she didn't think it was a big deal. "Because family money is shared." Rachel let out a sharp breath. Ethan continued. "She's accepted a plea deal, suspended sentence, full restitution. The catch? The funds are coming from your parents' account." Rachel stared at the ceiling. "So they paid it off, but still no apology, no accountability." Later that evening, she checked Chloe's social media again. Chloe was now in Cincinnati, posing in a new uniform, paper and name tag, hair tied back, with a caption, "Fresh start, first day at Cedar Table Grill." Rachel stared at the screen, numb. Somehow Chloe had turned the scandal into an aesthetic. The phone rang. Aunt Valerie's name lit up. "Hey, sweetheart," the voice on the other end was soft, maternal. "I heard about everything, just so you know. Not everyone is siding with your parents." Valerie explained how other relatives had backed away from Deborah and Frank after learning the truth. Chloe had been quietly sent off to Cincinnati. They're protecting her again. But the family? They've had enough. After they hung up, Rachel sat in silence by her window. Outside, the street lamps glowed in puddles on the pavement. She watched them ripple and thought, maybe Chloe is changing. But why did I have to bleed for her to learn that lesson? 3 months after the accident, Rachel returned to Sable Heights. She walked with a slight limp, her strides slower but no less purposeful. The construction site bustled as usual, but this time her colleagues paused to smile, to nod, to welcome her back, not just as a supervisor, but as someone who had endured something and come out the other side steadier than before. Her boss pulled her aside and mentioned quietly that she was being considered for a promotion, project executive. It didn't surprise her, she had earned it. Midway through a meeting, her phone buzzed with a message from the front desk. A woman was asking to see her. "She says she's your mother." Rachel's chest tightened. She hesitated, then stood up, quietly excused herself and walked toward the lobby. Deborah Carter sat stiffly in a waiting chair, purse clutched in her lap. Her makeup was perfect, but her eyes betrayed weeks of unrest. Rachel motioned toward a private conference room, and they entered in silence. "I just wanted to talk," Deborah said softly, trying to smile. "I'm your mother, Rachel. No matter what's happened, I love you." Rachel folded her arms. "You love me, but you watched Chloe steal from me while I was lying in a hospital bed. You called it a misunderstanding." Her mother's expression stiffened. "Everyone makes mistakes. Chloe just acted impulsively. She's young." Rachel's voice hardened. "I don't want to live in a family where kindness is punished and betrayal is dismissed as impulsive. If you can't respect my boundaries, then you don't belong in my life anymore." Deborah's eyes welled up. She slumped into the chair behind her, tears finally falling. "Rachel, families fight. Families forgive. You're tearing us apart." Rachel's eyes stayed dry. "I'm setting limits because I value family. But love doesn't mean allowing yourself to be broken over and over again." She stood up, signaling the conversation was over. Her mother remained seated, weeping into her hands. Rachel left the room, shoulders square, spine straight, knowing this wasn't an ending, but a necessary beginning. Chung 6, Binhem Mintu Do. Rachel exhaled as she took her final step in physical therapy. The doctor smiled, placed a hand on her shoulder and said, "You're good to go. You could hike a mountain now." She smiled, truly smiled, for the first time in months. That weekend, she did exactly that. She and Lindsay trekked a trail along Oregon's Cascade Mountains. The air was crisp, pine-scented, the sun scattered through tree branches like gold. At one point, Rachel stopped at a rocky overlook. She spread her arms, eyes closed, face tilted to the wind. It felt like breathing for the first time. When she got home, Ethan's email was waiting. "Case closed," the subject read. Chloe's plea deal was finalized, no jail time, full restitution. Rachel received the funds in her account, untouched. She didn't respond. It had never been about the money. Later, a bouquet arrived, soft ivory lilies, with a note in her mother's handwriting. "Thinking of you. Call when you're ready." Rachel set them on the kitchen counter without reading further. Chloe's message followed. "I know I messed up. I'm trying. That's all. No apology, just a sentence. An attempt." Rachel didn't reply. Instead, she spent the evening clearing out old clutter. In her bedroom, she hung a new photo on the wall, herself, standing on a mountaintop, arms wide, eyes closed, mid-laugh. The phone rang again. She saw her mother's name. She let it go to voicemail and stepped onto her balcony. The sunset stretched out before her, bold, warm, unbothered. For the first time, Rachel wasn't chasing closure. She was writing a new chapter on her own terms. Voiceover. Not everyone who shares your blood deserves a place in your life. And sometimes loving yourself, setting boundaries, is the most radical act of love a daughter can give. Sometimes the hardest battles we fight are the ones no one else can see, the ones against silence, guilt, and the invisible lines drawn by blood. But healing often begins the moment we decide we're no longer willing to be hurt, even if it means walking away from the people we once called home. Because love without respect isn't love, and forgiveness without accountability isn't peace. Thank you for being here and letting this story sit with you. If it stirred something in you, share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe for more stories that speak to the heart.